Clara's scalp gleamed like polished bone under the Nevada sun, each stubble catching the light like thorns strewn across barren ground. She sat on the porch steps of what was once her home, fingers trembling as they traced the raw contours of her shorn head. Her hair, once cascading to her waist, lay scattered in the dirt behind her, trampled by her late husband's family. "You think we didn't know about you and that Mexican?" Wura Caldwell had hissed, wielding the razor with venom. "You think we're fools?" Clara hadn't been with Miguel Ramirez. She'd spoken to him twice, once to buy grain, once for directions. But the truth held no weight with the Caldwells. Thomas had been dead 3 months, and they wanted her gone from his land, their land. The shaving was just the start. Dignity stripped first, property to follow. Wrapped in a threadbare shawl, Clara sat waiting for nothing, the shame of her naked scalp exposed to the morning's glare. The Caldwell brothers had ridden off at dawn, smug with their work, promising to return with papers to claim the homestead. Martha, their sister, had spat at Clara's feet. "Be gone by sundown, or we'll do worse." The morning stretched hollow, endless. No neighbors would help, the Caldwells owned half the territory and employed the rest. Clara, orphaned in Kansas City and brought to this windswept Nevada wasteland by Thomas, had nowhere to go. The alkali dust coated everything, turning the world as white as bone. Hoofbeats broke the silence. A lone rider approached from the eastern hills, his horse picking through the sage. Clara pulled her shawl tighter, but it couldn't hide what they'd done. The man dismounted at her gate, tall, weathered, silver threading his dark hair. Jacob Olay, owner of the Triple H Ranch, one of the few in the territory who didn't bend to Caldwell money. His gray eyes studied her, taking in the devastation without flinching. "You're coming with me," he said, his voice carrying quiet authority. Clara's hands flew to her head, clutching the shawl. "I can't. Look at me." "I am looking," Jacob said, no pity in his tone, only truth. "And I see a woman wronged. Nothing more, nothing less." Pride urged her to refuse. Accepting charity felt like another layer of shame atop the Caldwell's cruelty. But with night approaching and winter weeks away, pride was a luxury she couldn't afford. "Why?" Her voice scraped raw. Jacob adjusted his hat against the climbing sun. "Because what they did was wrong. Because I've got space. Because," he paused, something flickering across his face. "Because my Sarah would have wanted me to." The past tense stung. Clara had heard whispers in town about Sarah Olay, dead 5 years from fever. Some said it broke Jacob, others said it hardened him. Looking at him now, she thought it might have just made him lonelier. "The Caldwells won't like it," she warned. "They'll say you're harboring their property." "You're not property." His tone could cut stone. "And I'm not afraid of the Caldwells." But Clara was afraid of accepting help, of what people would say, of the debt she'd owe this stranger who didn't flinch at her shame. Most of all, she feared hope, that treacherous whisper promising she wasn't alone. "I've nothing to give in return," she said. "Didn't ask for anything." Dust rose on the horizon. Riders, coming fast. Clara's blood turned cold. The Caldwells, back sooner than promised. Jacob's hand dropped to the Colt at his hip. "Decide now," he said. "Stay and face them, or ride with me." Clara looked at the cabin Thomas built, the garden she'd tended, the life she'd tried to make. Then at the riders, 6 men, maybe more. Luke Caldwell's voice carried on the wind. Sheriff Morrison, deep in their pocket, was likely among them. "I'll come," she said, voice trembling but resolute. Jacob helped her onto his horse as the riders crested the hill. She pressed against his back, feeling his steady warmth as they rode. The shawl whipped free, but she no longer cared who saw her shame. Luke's shout followed them, "Holloway, bring her back." Jacob only spurred the horse faster, navigating arroyos and ridges with a man's knowledge of every stone. The Triple H Ranch sprawled in a valley sheltered by red rocks, its house built solid against the elements. Jacob helped Clara down in the yard. A Mexican woman emerged from the kitchen. "Esperanza," Jacob said, "this is Clara. She's staying." Esperanza took one look at Clara's scalp and nodded. "Si, patron. I'll prepare a room." Through the kitchen window, Clara saw dust rising again. Hoofbeats thundered closer. "They're coming," she whispered, terror clawing her gut. Jacob checked his rifle, calm and methodical. "Let them come. You don't understand. They'll burn you out. They've done it before. Then they'll learn something new today." 6 riders surrounded the house, horses snorting. Luke Caldwell dismounted, face red with rage, flanked by his brothers Nathan and Samuel. Sheriff Morrison sat his horse, looking uneasy. "Holloway," Luke barked, "send out our property." "Don't see any property," Jacob said, stepping onto the porch, rifle loose in his hands. "Just a woman under my protection." "She belongs to us," Luke snapped. "Married to our brother." "Your brother's dead. Marriage ended with him." Nathan spat. "She dishonored his memory, running around with that greaser." "That's a lie." Clara called from the doorway, voice stronger than she felt. Luke's eyes blazed. "You calling us liars, harlot?" Jacob's rifle rose an inch. "Call her that again." The silence stretched taut. Sheriff Morrison shifted, hand near his badge, as if recalling its meaning. "Last chance, Holloway," Luke growled. "Send her out, or we'll take her." "Over my dead body," Nathan sneered. Time froze. Clara watched, hand at her throat, feeling every choice that led here. 6 guns against 1, Jacob couldn't win, no matter his skill. She'd brought death to his door. Then Esperanza appeared, shotgun in hand, her face set. "No," Clara whispered. "See," Esperanza said. "This is home. We protect home." From the barn came boots on boards. A young man emerged, rifle ready, then another from behind the house, Jacob's ranch hands, ready to fight. Sheriff Morrison cleared his throat. "Now, Luke, maybe we should." "Shut up, Morrison." Luke snapped, but his certainty wavered. 6 against 1 was his game, 6 against 6, with Jacob's reputation, was another. "I'll go with them," Clara said, stepping forward. "This isn't your fight." "Yes, it is," Jacob said, not turning. "Why?" The word tore from her. "Why risk everything for someone you barely know?" He faced her, gray eyes steady. "Because the day we stop protecting those who can't protect themselves, we stop being human. And because Sarah said a man's measure isn't what he does when people watch, but what he does when no one would blame him for walking away." Something broke open in Clara's chest, not heartbreak, but belonging. This stern man, offering sanctuary without questions, living by a dead wife's code, would rather die than betray it. "Thank you," she whispered. He nodded, turning back to the Caldwells. "You've got your answer. Ride away, or we settle this." Luke's face twisted with rage and realization, his power had limits. Men like Jacob wouldn't bend. "This isn't over, Holloway." "Yes, it is," Jacob said. Morrison broke first, reining his horse around. "Miss Clara, Mr. Holloway, I'll head back to town." The spell shattered. Luke cursed, but without the sheriff's badge, they were just men threatening a fortified ranch. "You'll regret this," he snarled, backing to his horse. "Doubt it," Jacob said. The Caldwells rode off, dust and wounded pride trailing behind. Clara sank onto the porch steps, relief and terror shaking her. "It's over?" she asked. "It's over," Jacob said, sitting beside her, close enough for her to feel his warmth. "They won't be back. Luke's not fool enough to start a range war he can't win. My homestead. I'll buy it from them. Fair price. Keep them from burning it. Clara studied his weathered face, the silver in his hair, the strength that saved her. Why do all this? Jacob watched the sun sink toward the red rocks. Sarah and I never had children. When she was dying, she made me promise not to let loneliness make me selfish. Said someone would need what we couldn't give each other. Is that what this is? Keeping a promise? He looked at her, eyes tracing her shorn head, her worn dress, her resilience. Started that way. Maybe it's something else now. Clara felt warmth bloom, not shame, but something fragile, hopeful. Jacob, no need to say anything. Stay. Work the ranch, rest, figure out what's next when you're ready. She nodded, voice lost. The ranch settled into evening, Esperanza humming, horses nickering, cattle lowing. It felt like home, more than her homestead ever had. That night, in the guest room Esperanza prepared, Clara faced the mirror. Her stubbled scalp shocked her, but the shame no longer defined her. She'd found something worth more than hair or pride, belonging. Years later, with long hair silvered by time, Clara would tell her children how Jacob Holloway saved her, not from the Caldwells, but from believing she was alone. That was still to come. Tonight, she touched the mirror and whispered, "Thank you, Sarah," to a woman she'd never met, but would honor forever. Outside, Nevada stars burned bright over the Triple H, where a broken woman found sanctuary, not in running away, but in running toward something worth having.